Today, we're going to be going over the craziest cut content from every single Call of Duty. Some of these are going to shock you. Let's dive in. Okay, so our journey begins in Call of Duty 4, and this one is going to be taking us to the campaign. Now, if you played the campaign, you probably remember the first ever mission, and it was called FNG. Now, this was pretty much a training course to get you ready, introduce you to some of the characters. Well, the first thing you did back then was you shot your weapon. You shot the target. Shoot the targets. And then you went, after you did that, to Captain Price and went through that little training course. Well, there was actually supposed to be something in between. And that was the second thing, where you would kind of use your grenade launcher and C4 and practice blowing up cars. Now, that got cut from the game. But if you fast forward to COD 4 Remastered, they actually added it into the game. So it's shooting the targets with your gun, then you would move on to the C4 explosive, I guess, testing when you blow up cars, and then you would go to Captain Price for the training course. Not in COD 4 the OG, but in COD 4 Remastered. I really love how they did that. Now that brings us to World at War, and listen, despite what you may think about the game, it is one of the most influential games because of the introduction to zombies. And on top of that, it actually had co-op campaign, if you remember that far. And the campaign was really, really good. But here's the craziest thing. This campaign could have been even better. They actually cut an entire act. There was supposed to be a third act of the campaign, the British Front. And now on top of this, if they would have had that, that would have introduced a bunch of new multiplayer maps, and we would have gotten a bunch of new weapons as well. Some of these being the Bren, the Katana, the Lee Enfield, the PPS-43, and the Sten. So it would have a lot more content in World at War than we got originally. And here's the funny thing. We were actually supposed to get a camo grind with the weapons, not just these weapons, but all the weapons. So there was originally supposed to be a gold camo grind. So you would have had a gold MP40. Now, I've heard it different ways. Now, it could have been because of the era. They didn't want to do gold stuff and keep to the times and keep it grounded, which if that was the case, it actually makes sense. Or I've actually heard as well that they just didn't have enough time and it didn't get fully fleshed out. So they just ended up scrapping it. I don't know what I would have preferred. I kind of like the idea of it being really grounded game, but I don't know. World at War MP40 might have hit. I don't know. What do you think? Now we're on to MW2, and there's actually two that I really thought were crazy with this one. Number one, in the multiplayer. I can't tell if I like this or I hate this, but there was a perk called Rear View. Now, it's exactly kind of what you think it would be. This perk would disable your minimap up top and give you like a rear view mirror at the top of your screen. So literally you could see your entire backside, but you would lose the access to like the red dots on the minimap and UAVs. So it's kind of give and a take. I can kind of see this happening in a Call of Duty. I'm shocked that it was cut from this game, honestly. And then on top of that, in the campaign, the original version of the mission Contingency, you're actually supposed to join Captain Price on the submarine and fire off the missile yourself. Obviously this was cut, but luckily we got some modders out there, and they've been able to create this submarine and explore what could have been. Honestly, I don't know. These both are kind of cool. So Black Ops 1 takes us back to the campaign again. Now, we all know if you played Black Ops 1 campaign, it's absolutely amazing. Could be one of the best campaigns in gaming history, but it could have been even better. Now, let me remind you a quick brief history lesson. Like I said, World at War had co-op campaign. That's made by Treyarch. Spoiler alert, Black Ops 1 is also made by Treyarch, and they decided to cut the co-op campaign. Yes, Black Ops 1 was supposed to have a co-op campaign and got cut. I don't know what to think about this, because I think this would have been absolutely awesome to experience this campaign with a friend or a family member. Kind of sad, but I guess, I don't know. I guess they made the right choice because the characters were awesome solo. I don't know. Okay, so MW3 is kind of light in the cut content department, but there's something that caught my eye. And unfortunately, it was a death streak. I guess fortunately, because it did get cut. But if you don't know what a death streak is, pretty much You die so many times that you get rewarded for a perk or a kill streak, pretty much something that makes you go out and get a kill. Helps you get a kill pretty much. But in MW3, this one probably would have broken the game. They were going to add the airdrop jug death perk. I think you know exactly what this is. You don't got to really spell this one out. They were going to give you a juggernaut for dying a certain amount of time. Now, it didn't tell me how many deaths it would have been to get this one, but the fact that they even thought that they were going to give somebody a juggernaut for dying probably would have been like 7-8 times. That could have been a strategy. I'm going to die 8 times in a row, get us a jug, and then we'll be able to turn this game around. I don't know. Maybe they were 200 IQ in it. I'm just kidding. That's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing thing to add. Don't do it. I'm glad they cut it. Oh, the wonderful GOAT Black Ops 2. Now, this thing has a very famous, I guess, a famous thing that was cut from Black Ops 2. A lot of people know what this one is. There was actually supposed to be a 5th and final zombies map pack for this game. And pretty much it was going to be revisiting the World at War maps. And here's the good news. Well, I guess the bad news is it got cut. But then the good news is they picked it back up and they brought it into BO3 at a later date and called it Zombies Chronicles. You probably know that one. Now, here's the other one. This one, I got to explain it because it didn't really make sense, but it sounded kind of fun. It was called Purgatory. And pretty much it was dodgeball meets Call of Duty. So each player would start with a knife, and then when they died, they were out, just like Search and Destroy. But if a player on your team got a kill, they could actually respawn one player that was out. So kind of like when you catch a ball in dodgeball, if somebody's sitting on the sideline, you can get him back in. Now, that also creates maybe a very extended long game. It kind of sounds fun to me. These are the kind of game modes that I feel like they should at least try to put out and see if people like them. And if they don't, then you're like, okay, we'll just scrap it for the next COD. This one could have been a decent idea, I feel like. Now, Call of Duty Ghosts did not have a lot of cut content either, but here's a crazy thing. I feel like the one thing that Ghosts was kind of missing, and you could call me crazy, was really good streaks. And I feel like they did not have good streaks at all, to be honest with you. Very little of them do I even remember. But here's the thing. They actually had a ton of cut streaks. I want to go over them. I want to read them off this list. And there's like 20. And they're all cut from the final version. We have the Strafe Front, EMP, GPS Buddy, don't know what that is, a Cerberus, a Sentinel, a Guardian Drone, a Scout Drone, a SAM Turret, a UGV, an Odin Battle, and a Salvo Drone. I mean, some of these sound like they would have been a little bit better than what the streaks we got in Call of Duty Ghosts. Imagine calling in an Odin and it like destroys the map. I mean, I know we had that little streak in like Strike Zone to change the map, but I'm talking about like a streak you could actually earn. You get an Odin and it ends the game. I mean, come on now, guys. Now, Advanced Warfare, they're going to be copying and following Treyarch's lead with the cutting of campaigns. Now, this one is not an actual campaign, but it's cutting the style of a campaign. So Game Files actually found that Advanced Warfare was supposed to have a third-person campaign, or it was also going to have the option to have third person and first person, so you could switch back and forth. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like if we could get a Call of Duty that would have this, I actually really like the idea. And I feel like Sledgehammer was already kind of going with a unique route with the jetpack era. Imagine a third and first person campaign. I mean, they were thinking, come on, man, give Sledgehammer a little credit for this one. I like the way they were thinking. Kind of disappointing they cut this. Okay, something about Treyarch. We're back on Black Ops 3. I don't know what it is with these guys in their campaigns, but they have a bunch of crazy ideas and they never seem to go through with them. Black Ops 3, now the original campaign, I gotta say, guys, I've never, ever liked that campaign. I've tried to play it. I can't make it through it. Some of you guys defend it with your life, but I can't. I'm sorry. But this game was supposed to have an entire open world style campaign, and it was completely cut. So pretty much imagine what we got in MW3 and a little bit of Black Ops 6, where you can kind of do whatever. They were thinking of this style of campaign back in 2015, but ultimately they cut it and made whatever product they had and put out. I don't know what happened with that. I think I would have actually preferred the open world for this one, to be honest. And I don't even know the story. So Infinite Warfare, obviously not the most well-liked Call of Duty of all time, But I will say the zombies was pretty solid. Zombies in Spaceland. When I went back and revisited, I thought it was great. I feel like the sentiment towards this map in zombies has kind of gotten better over time. Here's the crazy thing. There actually was an Easter egg that was cut, and modders have found it, and they have told us in this little description that this was supposed to be found at level or round 6,000. The zombies would start appearing with space helmets on. Do I think that's worth round 6,000? Not really. Some people have speculated that this is part of a larger Easter egg, but we'll never know because it was entirely cut. So if you wanted to see zombies with space helmets on, sorry about that. Well, this brings us to COD World War II, and this is a very interesting one. It's actually something that just has kind of appeared in the last couple months, to be honest with you. The recent footage, I think it was like 2 months ago, you all thought Blackout was the first ever battle royale in Call of Duty history, but little did you know, Sledgehammer was up there cooking a battle royale for COD World War II, and it never made it to launch. Now, it seems like we have some footage of this. It looks like it kind of got repurposed into the headquarters. But as you can see, a headquarters was part of the POIs that you could have landed at. I'm not going to lie to you. A World War II battle royale would be something that I would love to see. We obviously will never see it. We're never getting the headquarters back, it feels like. I feel like Sledgehammer does so many things that they probably... I can't imagine how much cut content that is amazing that we never got to see. I mean, it's crazy, man. It makes me sad. But yeah, would you have liked to seen World War II be the first COD to get battle royale? Or were we good with Blackout? Speaking of Blackout, here we are in Black Ops 4. And you probably knew this. Blackout is the third mode that launched with Black Ops 4. This time around, it was multiplayer zombies and Blackout. There was one massive thing missing from the game, and that was campaign. Now, most of us thought that it didn't get made because they were making the third mode battle royale. But little did you know, in an interview with the devs, they actually said they had a campaign, and it was actually partially, I don't want to say partially done, but it was definitely, some progress had been made. And what we now know, due to leaks on Reddit and all these other websites, is it was supposed to be a cooperative live service campaign. Kind of like an always online mode. I think this would have been terrible, to be honest with you. There's probably a reason it was cut. I don't see it being, especially live service, man. People can't stand those types of games. And I feel like it was the right choice, despite the flack that they got. I think they would have gotten more flack if they would have put this out instead. It's Modern Warfare 19, and I got to give you just a brief history lesson. Supply drops. Now, these came out in Advanced Warfare 2014, and they went up to World War II, which was 2018. Now, Modern Warfare released in 2019, and everybody and their grandmother was expecting this game to have supply drops. And here's the fun fact. This game was supposed to have supply drops. But if you didn't know, at the time, there were some issues going around with the casino-like gambling, and Battlefront 2 was one of the main games in the forefront of just absolutely ripping off the customer base with star cards and all sorts of box openings. Very, very money-hungry grind. And so Modern Warfare 19 had supply drops originally, and then because of all this flack and all this issues, they cut it. And I believe they cut it very, very close to launch. Like, it almost made beta, and it didn't. I mean, there is very finished products of like the supply drops and what they look like and all that stuff. I am so glad that this game did not come out with supply drops, because they did a lot of stupid things in this. This would have just added to it. And imagine if we started getting crazy skins back in MW19. COD might be dead, to be honest. So Cold War, will keep it kind of short and sweet. Unfortunately, Warzone came out, absolutely dominated the world. But here's the funny thing. Treyarch was working on another Blackout. So they were working on Blackout 2. And because of the success of Warzone, they pretty much scrapped the entire thing. Now, we do have visual proof that they were almost done, or they were done, because we have an entire map called Ascension. I think it was called just Ascension. And they ended up, they didn't scrap it, but they used parts of it for Outbreak and a Dirty Bomb map. I would have liked to seen what Blackout 2 would have offered us, but I just feel like, I will say, the first ever iteration of Warzone was pretty amazing. I just think at this point now with Warzone, I'm like, man, I wish we would have kind of gotten like, you know how we get two different CODs? Like we get an Infinity War version and a Treyarch version, and everybody kind of likes their thing. Imagine if we would have gotten a Blackout and a Warzone kind of going back and forth where you get one every other year. Never's going to happen, but I thought it would be kind of a cool thing. Now, Vanguard, again, this is a game that doesn't have a lot of cut content. At least it's not as well known. I guess the coolest thing that I saw with this was that they were supposed to have Infected and Gunfight, those classic party modes from previous Call of Duties. Whatever reason, they never added it to the final game. I really think this would have spiced it up a little bit. I mean, it probably would have not helped the game do any better, but I always like to play Gunfight. I play Gunfight in every Call of Duty now. I thought that was something that MW19 did really well. And Vanguard 2v2 Gunfight kind of would have went crazy. I'm not going to lie. Now, we're going to have to get a little sad here for a little bit, guys. We're on MW2. And unfortunately, you guys know with this one, we got Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx as skins. Now, you're probably going to be like, oh, they cut the game. They took the skins out of the game. That's the cut content. No, actually, there were supposed to be other creators that got skins in the game. And we've now confirmed it. The actual people have come out and said it. They've almost shown it, to be honest. Scump, obviously well-known, probably the most well-known Call of Duty player of all time, was supposed to get a skin. The funny thing was, he actually got his he got a skin in the game off the grid. I think it's recently just released. It kind of gives us a little taste of what we probably were going to get in Warzone. I'm sure they use very similar designs. So we were going to get Scump in MW2, and on top of that, we were going to get Swag in MW2. And unfortunately, all that issues. We'll probably never see creator skins again. It kind of sucks because I do feel like Scump, Nate Shot, those kind of people that just made COD what it is today deserve to be in the game. And it's like, come on, man. Like, it's been like 2 years now. Let's give it a shot again. All right, so now we have MW3, and this one's not going to be a revelation for anybody. MW3 was originally supposed to be an expansion to Modern Warfare 2. Obviously, they changed plans on us and they decided to do a brand new game, but that actually impacted the campaigns because they ended up bringing back Makarov in this one, but there was originally, like I said, this is an expansion, they were going to continue off the MW2 campaign. Let me read what it says here. It was going to be a smaller scale single player campaign, which was planned to be set in Mexico, along with new content for MW2's multiplayer. So I think we would have gotten a little bit, maybe more of Alejandro a little bit in the campaign. But unfortunately, no, that's all gone. And then that made, you know, all the studios come in and help and finish zombies, and it became a scattered mess. The sad part is this game's got a good multiplayer, but nobody really cares because it was supposed to be an expansion and it got ripped to shreds. And that brings us to our final game, Black Ops 6, which is obviously the current game. And here's a really funny thing. Stakeout, the smallest map in multiplayer, if you go into spectating mode, you can actually widen this bad boy out a little bit, and you'll be able to see a layout of a bigger map. It feels like you're in a bigger category and bigger level than you actually are, and it's because you are. This is actually supposed to be the Battle Royale map Avalon, but what we know right now, this could be scrapped. So this is supposed to be the next Warzone map, and because of kind of the way Warzone has been going, downward trend, Activision decided to bring back Verdansk, which we all know and have seen in the last couple weeks of marketing. And it sounds like that's going to be the map now. And this could put Avalon into a category of never ever using again. If Verdansk pops, we're never going to see Avalon. And it's just going to be a cut piece of content, just like the Blackout 2 map. And if Verdansk flops, maybe they'll throw this one out there again and see if this one sticks. It looks like a decent map, but I think we will never, ever see this map. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have high hopes, but maybe we'll watch this video in 6 months and we'll be playing it with the new Black Ops game. But we'll have to see. And there you have it, folks. That is the craziest piece of cut content, in my opinion, in every single Call of Duty. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. If you did, what was the most shocking piece of cut content? Maybe what's a piece of cut content that you would have liked to seen actually be in the game? Again, thank you all for watching very much. We're getting close to 500,000 subscribers. Let me know about some ideas. If you got them down in the comments, I'd be more than happy to try them, to cover them. Super excited. If you can, leave a like on the video too. And if you want to watch another video, go click over there. All right, guys. See you in the next one.